I'm so excited for this episode of Your Brand Amplified. I'm your host, Annika Jackson, and I'm here with Stephanie Keith from Law of Attraction Tribe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So I found out about your podcast through a women's podcasting group that we're both in, started listening, had immediate results, DM'd you because I was like, okay, I listened to one episode and all of a sudden all these things happened. I love your podcast. I love your app and everything else that you're doing. But before we get into what you're doing now, please walk us through your journey of how you got here.
Yeah, so it's been a long road. I first learned about the law of attraction in 2009, like a lot of people did with The Secret. And at that point in my life, I was very narrow-minded in terms of how I could manifest abundance and success in my life. Like I really only thought of it as happening through my day job in the corporate world. So I was really great at manifesting raises and promotions and bonuses and all those kinds of things. But every time I did that, more stress was put on me. And I was just at that point where every single day I would wake up and just feel that feeling in my stomach, like I didn't want to get up and go to work. I started having a lot of anxiety. And when my 30th birthday rolled around, I was reflecting on my 20s, just realizing that I felt like I basically gave a decade of my life to this corporate job. You know, it's like outside of this job, I was a mom, and outside of that and being a mom, I didn't really have time for anything else. And I certainly didn't have the headspace for anything else because I was just so, stressed all the time. And I thought, there's no way I could do this for another 10, 20, 30 years. And I just felt really lost because everything that had led up to that point was all around sales. I was in corporate sales. I was in management. It's all I knew. It was what my degree was in. And I just didn't even know where to get started. And I started thinking, what would make me feel happy and fulfilled? Like, how can I serve the world, and how can I leave a legacy for my daughter? Like, what would I want to be known for? And I had no answer, which is really scary, when you want to make a big change and you just have absolutely no idea where to go with it. So I got out a pen and paper. I'm very big on journaling. That's something that's really helped me manifest, all the success that I did have throughout the corporate career. And I just started writing out, what do I like? What do I enjoy? What would I want to do if I didn't have to go to my 9-to-5 job every day? Like, what would my life look like? And there was just a lot of stuff, and none of it looked like anything I could make money off of or build a business out of. I'm just felt like, what am I going to do from here? But one of the things, well, actually, two of the things on the list were the law of attraction. Love the law of attraction. I read every book up until that point, just devoured any piece of content I could around that. And then I was getting really excited about Instagram and posting. And I thought it was really cool how people were building these online businesses. So those were two things on the paper that I kept coming back to. And it's like every day I would look at that paper and I'd be like, this is interesting. And, it was just kind of like these little nudges. And I eventually just decided, all right, I'm just going to start an Instagram page and start talking to people about the law of attraction because I know it works. I love talking about it, and maybe it can benefit someone out there. So that's really where I started. And from there on out, I just started taking these little inspired hits as they came. And eventually it turned into online courses. Then it grew into the podcast. Then last year I had 2 book deals. So one of the books just came out a couple of weeks ago. And I launched an app and a membership site and, all these different things that if you would have told me that on my 30th birthday, I would have said, that's not possible. There's no way. But I just took one little action step at a time and just kind of allowed my intuition to guide me towards this path. And here I am today.
Yeah. Well, and I think This is a common dilemma. People think they have to go through life a certain way, go to a certain school, get a certain degree. And then you get to the successful part of that career after you've done all that work and go, wait, this isn't really me. It's not authentic. It's not what I really want, what makes my heart sing. And
Right.
so the fact that you were able to find that and you'd already been using the techniques of manifestation and abundance and the law of attraction to perpetuate things with limits, I would say,
Mhm.
right? Within your
Yeah.
job. And then you went, wait, it's limitless. And I
Mhm.
think that's the podcast episode. The first one I listened to was the one where you talk about don't put limits and barriers on the universe.
Right.
Really like you don't know how things are going to come to you and just be open to all of the possibilities.
Absolutely. And what I find so exciting is that there are things that don't even exist yet, like different technology and platforms that could be your next $1 million business.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is when I first got started with all of this, I didn't even know what a podcast was.
Mhm.
I didn't have TikTok wasn't even around, like Instagram, I knew about it. I thought it was really cool, but I didn't even have an account at that point. So there are things that like could be the next big thing for you that aren't even here yet. And so if you're so focused on how it's going to happen, it really can limit you and narrow you from seeing something really cool that's coming. So it's really important to just keep an open mind and be open to trying new and different things that you might not fully understand, but you get excited about.
Yeah. And how do you think other people who are in that kind of pivotal state where they're maybe in a corporate job, they're looking to transition, what are some of the things that maybe the questions they should ask or the thoughts that they should put out to attract what they're supposed to be doing or,
Yeah,
reach those aha moments?
right. So my big aha moment, it was kind of morbid because I started thinking, like if I were to die tomorrow, like what would people say about me? And like what would I be leaving this
Mm,
world? And as morbid as that is, I think it's a really important question. Like, what difference do you want to make in this world? Because I do feel like that's tied to your passion. I feel like there's all things inside of us that we're good at that light us up and that we're meant to share those things with the world. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be, that you're a really good cook. It could be that you're really good at organizing, that you're really, like these little things that light you up. And if you follow that, that is what is going to end up taking you down this path of fulfillment.
mhm,
So get out a piece of paper like I did, and I would just start writing out everything you can, like put your phone away and really just focus on
mhm,
everything that you feel you're great at or that lights you up. Like, when was the last time you really felt alive? You really felt energized. You felt like you could just work on this thing for hours. Like, write all those things down. And even if you have no idea whatsoever how that would make money or turn into a business, it doesn't matter. Just write that all down. And then from there, just pay attention to how you're feeling. Get in touch with your intuition. So after I wrote that down, nearly every day, I would keep getting the idea of starting this page, this
mhm.
Instagram page. And every day I would say, I'm not doing that. Like, that's scary. I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to make a graphic quote. I don't, all these excuses. But finally, after like a month of hearing that, I started the page, and that page is really what started my business. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to what's coming up, what inspired ideas keep coming back around. And once again, even if you don't see how that's tied to making money, it doesn't matter. Like, follow that if it feels right. And you'll be getting little steps moving forward. And you'll start to see a way, because pretty much anything you want to do, there's someone out there that has had success doing it. So that would be the next stage, I would say, is look for proof in your environment of people who are living a fulfilled life
Mhm.
doing that. I mean, now with technology and with social media, you can find pretty much anyone out there that you can follow from afar, just to train your subconscious that it is in fact possible and it's safe for you to step away from this old path that you thought you had to take and
Mhm.
go on to this new adventure.
Yeah. Was it scary when you decided to step out on faith and quit your, well-paying, great job and then move into this work that you felt really was your path?
It was terrifying. And something that I've noticed from all of the people that I look up to and admire and follow that have done amazing things in their life is that every single one of them, they were scared, they had doubt, they were afraid, but they took action anyways.
Mm.
And so the people that are manifesting these crazy lives that you see on, Instagram or whatever, it's not that they just have no worries in the world.
Mm.
They do, but they're taking action despite that. And so for me, I was making six figures. I had a company car, I had benefits. From the outside, it looked like I had it all,
Yeah.
and so my coworkers, my family, my friends, no one could understand why I would want to give that up. And so I didn't tell other people about it because I knew that their fear and their doubt around it was going to affect my mindset.
Oh, yeah.
So it really just stayed between me, my mom, and my husband, because they're both very, like, they've seen manifestation at play. They know it works. And that's it. Like, I didn't really share it with anyone else because I wanted to keep that strong mindset. And this is going to sound a little woo woo,
That's
but
okay. Bring it on.
yeah, whenever I'm about to do something, because I've done a lot of these really scary things before, like moving from Illinois to Florida, like
Mm.
quitting my job. And I always ask for a sign. I'm like, I just need to know, like, is this the thing that I should be doing? Is this crazy? Give me a sign, like asking the universe for a sign. And every time a sign will appear in one way or another. So at this point, I knew it was going to be really hard for me to step away from my corporate job.
Mhm.
And I was like, I just need like a reason, an excuse, a sign, something that's going to give me permission to walk away from this job
Mhm.
because I was really fighting it. I was having a hard time with it. And after 10 years of infertility, I got pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
Wow.
the moment, like literally the moment I found out I was pregnant, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm going on maternity leave and I'm not returning. And
Wow.
I could make that decision like in an instant. And it just, that's exactly, how it played out. And with the timing of it, I was actually in the hospital still after having my daughter when I received an email that someone wanted to hire me for social media, which was how I like really got
Wow.
started with the amount of money I needed to make up for my corporate job. So it really, things kind of happen for a reason, I believe, and you just have to take a leap of faith. But the biggest thing I would say around that is ask for a sign and then stick with your trusted inner circle. Don't go start telling the whole world what you're going to
Mhm.
do because you will get feedback from people that can place that seed of doubt and make you afraid of taking the action needed.
Yeah, I think those are all really important. I know when I haven't listened to my gut or my internal instincts,
Mhm.
you know, um, on something, because I've been like, no, I'm supposed to do XYZ. This is already the path that's set out. It doesn't work out. And
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
you're talking about being in tune with yourself, really listening to yourself internally, looking for the signs. And the signs could be external, but also sometimes they're internal. Like I literally get like a bad feeling in my gut when it's like, oh gosh, you're not supposed to be doing this. Why are you doing this? And I go, no, no, no. It's some, you like, it's easy to disregard your own feelings, to be a people pleaser, or to go on the path that you think is set out in front of you rather than take this other path. And I think this is something that's common with other people I've interviewed is stepping out of corporate, having that really amazing job, amazing in the way it pays and the benefits and maybe the company car and all those perks and the high level of success, but not feeling fulfilled inside. Um,
Right.
and being able to shift that to getting to a place where you feel fulfilled. And obviously, like, you can be as woo-woo as you want. I completely believe manifestation and abundance and law of attraction, and all of that. And I think, what have you ever had an experience where you're like, okay, where you feel barriers inside of yourself to the next step
Oh,
and to,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, and just to like pick up on what you were saying with, trusting your intuition and everything. I know that listening to it, if you're not used to hearing this kind of thing, it might sound really woo-woo and really out there, but there's actually a lot of science behind it too. Our human brain can only process like a fraction of a percent of what is around us in any given moment. So that intuition, that gut feeling, it's not like it's just there for no reason. Like, it's picking up on things that you can't possibly see with your human eyes, or fully comprehend with our brains. So it's like there is a lot of science behind why it's really important to trust those feelings that come through. And you're absolutely right with the barriers. Everyone has barriers that are just embedded from childhood, just from our society in general. And basically what happens is, in the first 7 years of life, your subconscious is like a computer that's just downloading all these software programs, right? And it's really important because it teaches you how to function in society. It teaches you how to follow the law and be safe and stay alive. But you also pick up on any negative beliefs that you hear. So if your parents grew up saying money's really hard to make, or you grew up thinking, I have to go to college and get a corporate job with benefits and a 401k, which is what I grew up hearing over and over and over again from all my teachers and just society. That can be really hard to overcome. And that's where a lot of that resistance comes from, when it's like, you want better, but you just get that feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is so scary. And you just have all this resistance around it. That's your subconscious actually trying to protect you and keep you safe, because that's the job of the subconscious. It's scary to step out of your comfort zone and do things that are new. And there's a lot of different techniques for overcoming these limiting beliefs around money, around your business. And the one that I have found that I kind of have been calling it like my manifestation hack is subliminals, because subliminals speak directly to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious is what's controlling the show. It's what's controlling these thoughts and that resistance feeling. And just to kind of put it in perspective, in any given second, your conscious mind processes about 2,000 bits per second. Your subconscious mind processes 200 billion bits per second.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So basically what happens is your subconscious gets all of this extra information, and it picks and chooses the things that you deem important. And that's what it feeds to the conscious mind. So anyhow, this is why it's really important to think about what you want, focus on what you want. And the subliminals are a way to do that, because you could take an affirmation or a goal and you could speed it up and loop it so that your subconscious is just hearing it over and over and over again. And that way it's going to tag that as important. So when it looks in your environment and it sees all these different opportunities that'll align with that goal, it's going to now process that for your conscious mind to see. And now all of a sudden you're consciously aware of all these opportunities. So it's not that they didn't exist before and now they're just magically here. It's just that you're now becoming consciously aware of them, and they were here the whole time. So that's really what I've been using a lot with my clients to kind of like fast track it, because if you write out your goals and you write affirmations, that's great and that's good. But this is just a way to kind of help speed up the process, because after age 7, the only way you can reprogram your subconscious mind is through repetition. So, you really have to this is why you should focus on your goal every day, write it out every day, use subliminals, do things that are going to cause that repetition for your subconscious.
Interesting. So you just said something I want to talk about, because I know you have an app with a whole community and you have some subliminals in the app, right? And some different information.
Yeah, I have a subliminal library where I create a new subliminal every month. And there are a variety of different topics. So obviously, like money is a big one. I think
Mhm.
everyone has limiting beliefs around money, and especially entrepreneurs, because you go from having that steady, trusty paycheck every 2 weeks to, being responsible for your income 100%. So there's a lot around wealth, around money, and there's also a lot around confidence subliminals, because I found that everyone I've been working with, when you get through all the layers, a lot of us, I'm sure almost all of us, have this feeling of not being enough. I'm
Mhm.
not old enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not rich enough. All these things saying we can't do something because we're not enough in some way. And so working on your confidence, working on knowing that you're worthy of this and you're worthy of charging X price for your product or service is really, really important in moving forward and
Mhm.
leaving this sort of like stable corporate job and going into the entrepreneur world, because that can really be a shock to your nervous system when all of a sudden you look in your bank account and you don't have that paycheck every 2 weeks. So it's important to focus on those kinds of things as well.
Yeah. And I think especially for women, we internalize more limiting beliefs. I
Mhm.
mean, because if you look at the job market, you look at pay is not equitable, it's not equal. We still make less money than men across the
Right.
board. There are less women, people see like one or two women leaders in an organization and they think, oh no, it is equal. And it's like, well, actually, a very small percentage of CEOs and people in the C-suite in corporations are women. Very few senators are women. And so,
Right.
I think we internalize more of those limiting beliefs. And then we also have that imposter syndrome where we don't ask for what we're worth. Right. So,
Absolutely. I noticed that when I was a manager in the corporate
mm,
world, I did a lot of hiring, and something struck me as so interesting and so unfortunate. And that was that every single man that we hired, every single one of them negotiated their salary. Not one female ever did, not one.
wow.
So I think it really ties into generational beliefs, because when you think about it, um, depending on when you were born, like either your mom or most definitely your grandmother was reliant on her husband or on the men in her life for
Mm,
money. I mean,
mhm.
I think it was like, what was it, the 60s or 70s before women could even open up a bank account and get a credit card in their own
Crazy.
name. I know my grandma got divorced in the 70s
Oh my
and she
gosh.
couldn't even get a credit card to buy her furniture for her apartment.
Wow.
So, we grew up with these beliefs, whether we're consciously aware of them or not, they were in our environment. And so it's really embedded in women, especially around money. And this is why, I see that show up really strong in female entrepreneurs. But what's incredible is when you can break through those beliefs and you can start rewiring it,
Mhm.
when women like get confident about making money, they're unstoppable. I mean, the amount of good they do in the world with it is insane. And so it's just like a mission of mine to really help women overcome these beliefs, because we need more women with money, because that is going to help the world at large. I just see so many women like donating and starting organizations and doing things that are really helping a lot of people. So it's really important to work through those, because we all have them. We all grew up
Yeah.
with relatives who lived in a generation where women just had no control with their finances.
So, and you also work with women, and I guess shouldn't just say women. I don't know if you work with men or other people as
Pretty
well.
much all women in my community. I mean, guys are always welcome too. I know a lot of the women, their husbands listen to the podcast, so I don't want to put
Nice.
down guys. We love the men too.
Well, I think, yeah, things like this, I think the woman tends to be the person who leads the family into thinking about abundance, manifestation, attraction, even feng shui, things like that. So you
Yes,
do work with women one-on-one as well, coaching them through some of these blocks and
I
getting to,
do.
yeah.
I do. Yeah. And, I think like in our world, we see a lot of like female coaches and stuff.
Hmm.
But I really work with women that do all types of things. Like One female that I work with is an artist, and she's, went from that kind of like starving artist mentality to 5 figures in a month. So it's
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter back to like what fulfills you and what your purpose is. If you can work through those beliefs, you could be abundant in any type of business that you want to
Nice.
start.
Wonderful. So what continues to inspire and motivate you about doing this work and helping share this mission with the world?
Definitely the community that I created. That was a really big goal going into this year, because I felt like as an entrepreneur, it can be kind of like lonely. You're just, especially if you don't have a whole team of people. And I really wanted to just start connecting with other goal-oriented women, and supporting one another. So between doing these podcast interviews and the app and creating this community, I've been able to connect with so many incredible women. And that is so inspiring. It's like that helps you show up every day in such a better way, like knowing that you're impacting them, they're impacting you, and you're all kind of holding each other up. So that's really what my whole inspiration is about this year.
Awesome. Do you have a specific example, if you feel open to sharing, about somebody that you started working with who maybe didn't believe it as much, but they wanted to just dip their toe a little bit and then they had some big breakthrough?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like most of the people that I've worked with start out that way. And we could just use like the artist example, because I think that's a really great one of just, it wasn't just her, it's like our whole society kind of has these limiting beliefs around having a creative business, and how, that's not about the money. And you have society saying you can't make money. And then you have like your fellow artist friends saying you're a sellout if you make money. So you're getting it on both ends of the spectrum. And really starting a morning routine around the affirmations has been so incredibly helpful. So everyone that's listening, I really recommend taking a few minutes every single morning. This is a game changer. This worked for me. This worked for her. In the morning, finding time when it's quiet. So for me, I get up before the kids get up, when the house is still quiet. And every single day I write out my goal, and I also say it out loud, because your subconscious responds to both, and you're using like a different neural pathway with both. So write down your goal, say it out loud, and then I'll write down like a whole page of affirmations around that goal while I'm listening to the subliminals.
Nice.
And the other cool thing is the subliminals have binaural beats with them, which help you focus. And there's so many benefits. You can do a lot of research on that. So it kind of gets you in that state where you're ready to take on the day and take inspired action. And I really kind of feel like the way you set up your morning is going to set the trajectory for the whole day. So we started doing this, and one of the things that she did in addition to this is she started writing out specifically how she wanted her day to go. So I'm going to get accepted into 2 art shows today. I'm going to connect with another artist that's working on this. I'm going to write a proposal for this. And she's manifesting it. She's
Amazing.
manifesting these things. Almost every day we're texting, and it's incredible, the stuff that's coming through. And so, like I said, I mean, we started working together the end of January, and we're at the beginning of May. She went from, barely making anything with it to 5 figures. Like that's insane. So it really can happen when you get the mindset piece behind it and you start believing. And the best way to do that is repetition. So start that morning routine. And it sounds small, but it really has a huge impact on your subconscious mind.
I love that. So you talked about your books, and you said one of your books just came out.
Yeah, it's called Trust the Universe. And it's a great guide for anyone, but especially if you're brand new to the whole manifestation thing. I really did my best to break it down and just make it simple, because I think as human beings, we like to
Yes, we
overcomplicate
do.
things. And, there's manifesting rituals like everywhere on social media. So I really tried to just break it down, because it doesn't have to be hard if you don't want it to be. And I tied in a lot of science behind it as well, because I have a science background. I have a dad who's really skeptical. So I love like being able to tie in science and real
Nice.
life examples with this. So it's a really great guide that kind of walks you through the whole process. And then every chapter, there's different practices that you can do so that you actually are implementing it in your life as you go along.
Mhm.
And you can get that online on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, Target, all the places.
Wonderful. And what's next for you in the law of attraction?
Oh, wow. Right now, my big goal is just scaling my app. I really just want to get as many women and men. I keep saying women, but really just as many high vibe people as possible, because I feel like the more good energy that's in there, the more it's going to impact the world. So that's my main focus for the rest of this year.
I love it. Is there anything else that you wanted to share today with, that entrepreneur or that person who has that drive in them who wants to take the leap?
If I could do it, you can too. I don't have any special skills that anyone listening doesn't have. So as long as you get really clear on your vision, you absolutely can achieve whatever you want. There's really no limit to it. And also, if they want to try out subliminals, I have free subliminals in the app. So they can go right now and get started with that and just listen to them on repeat. And that'll really help get their mind on board and start believing that all of this is possible for them.
Awesome. Stephanie, thanks so much. I was really excited to get the opportunity to actually meet face to face and talk through the law of attraction tribe. And I will put all of your resources in the show notes. And for our listeners, make sure to go to theLawOfAttractionTribe.com to find out more about Stephanie and her app and her books and how to work with her and everything else. So thank you.
So much.
Yeah,
I had so much fun
absolutely.
talking with you. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And thank you to our audience for coming back. And hopefully you gleaned some more inspiration on your entrepreneurial journey today. I'll be back again next week.